Welcome to Brace Yourself, the Raw and Unfiltered Podcast. Join me as we dive into bold and authentic conversations about relationships, self-care, cultural shifts, generational cycles, and more. This podcast is your go-to for real talk and eye-opening insights, all while challenging norms and inspiring change. Tune in to explore the truths that matter most and get ready to embrace the unfiltered reality. Quick disclaimer, the content of Brace Yourself, the Raw and Unfiltered Podcast with Ariel Marie is based on my own research, knowledge, experience, and expertise. While I've read numerous books and consumed credited content on these topics, I am not a licensed professional. I am not an OBGYN. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a therapist. Okay? I'm just a woman that wants to give informative information out to those who don't know that this is valuable information. The insights and opinions shared are personal and meant for informational purposes only. Please use your discretion and consult a professional for specific advice. Hey everyone, welcome to Brace Yourself, the Raw and Unfiltered Podcast. I'm your host, Ariel Marie, and today we're diving into a topic that might be challenging for some, but it's necessary for all of us to understand: the historical roots of discipline in the Black community and its connections to slavery. But before we get deep into that, we just gotta discuss how this past week has went. I am happy and I appreciate each and every one of you that went out and voted, because our voice does matter. Unfortunately, there weren't enough, and Trump won, which means that we have Social Security, health care, child care, government assistance, nationwide abortion. We have all of these things wrapped up in our minds right now about what's going to happen and what's going to go with it. And it's sad to say that this is the country that we live in. I thought, we were moving past bullshit and we were moving forward with change. But obviously, that's not that's not what this is. Obviously, America is way more conservative than what we thought it is. One moment, because Princess over here playing with this toy, y'all. It's not time for that. Find another toy. Nah, next week, y'all won't even hear no background music. I won't have to interrupt myself because I'll be using my new microphones that my man ordered for me because of these issues that I'm having now. So, but all I'm going to say to everyone is just keep doing what y'all doing. If not, add a little bit more in it. Keep working, save, and put you some money up to the side, because we about to be in for some mess. Eventually, it's going to be some stuff. So just prepare yourself. Start saving now if you haven't already, which you should have been. But this is a no judge zone. So start saving now. Have a plan B. Have a plan C. Just have any and everything ready, because we don't know how this country is about to be ran for the next 4 years. So stay prayed up. Whatever you believe in, pray. Just bring love and life into this world. Don't let the outside events affect your personal world that you have inside of you. Because if you do that, it's gonna take you over. And I kind of let that happen to me over this week with the outside world and everything that was going on. So no one is perfect. We're human at the end of the day. We react on emotion and everything. But it's all about how you move forward from then and learning from those habits so you don't repeat them. This will be a triggering conversation, but hard conversations are meant to be had. The truth can hurt, but it also heals. Many things we do as a community have roots in slavery, and it's time we detach and create positive traditions. So what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to play this video that I my man Sydney, I'm not going to say that I stumbled upon.
The second they talk back, bop, bop, bop. Making Massa proud. What? Making Massa proud. What does that even mean? No, I was just saying, like, you were continuing his family tradition of beating black bodies into submission. No, beating kids is funny. We were all just laughing. I bet you they were beating kids in Africa too before anybody got there. Well, there's actually no historical or anthropological evidence of ritualistic physical discipline in pre-colonial West African societies, so you'd be wrong. It's not even about all that. Like, they say it's okay to do it in the Bible. You know who else used that defense? Nah, you made it weird. You gotta go. Oh. Well, I'll just say this. In 30 years, after your children have been born and you've done what you say you're gonna do, and you go to them and you say, why don't you talk to me anymore? And they bring up the fact that you beat them over spilling juice or getting in trouble at school. I want you to remember this moment where you sat here, and when you fantasized about your future children, instead of being at their games and recitals, instead of walking them across the stage at graduation or down the aisle, you fantasized about holding them down and beating them. So you can tell them you didn't want to do it. You can tell them you did it out of love. You can tell them it hurt you more than it hurt them. But I want you to remember that you sat here and you fantasized, practically salivating over the very idea of it. And you laughed.
Okay. So that was the video. And I am going to put the link to this video in the bio of this podcast as well. Her @name on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, but X, is @Sammy, SAMMXNEY. Samony. Sam Money. However, you're going to pronounce it. I am not good with pronunciation. Y'all will learn that about me eventually. But that is her @name. Again, I will be putting the link in the bio so you guys can look at it yourself. But when this video got sent to me and I watched it, I was appalled. I was in shock because I have never put two and two together. In my 27 years of living, I never put slavery and whoopings together. But it's literally right there, blank spat in your face. Whooping whips. Like, look how much that correlates. Just pay attention, and just open your eyes and see, like, damn. Granted, like, we always hear, in the Black community, they need to whoop them kids. That's why them kids act like that. Kids act like that. Their kids don't listen because they need to put a belt to their ass. Realistically, that's that slave mindset talking. And for generations, we have been doing this. And it's instilled in our brains. And that's why we think it's acceptable and that it's okay. When in reality, to everyone that is listening and to everyone who is not listening, it's not. You're not supposed to beat anything. You shouldn't have to beat your child for them to listen to you. You should talk to them. Figure out what's wrong. Because at the end of the day, a lot of us, especially the Black community, we give these children adult expectations and then you get upset and you get irritated with them. This is a child. Stop giving them the adult expectations. Stop telling them, well, why you ain't doing that? These are children. These are their first time being on this earth. Now, it might not be their first time because some kids be coming back. It's like, my God, baby, she been here before. But this is their first time doing life. You cannot fault them for making mistakes and not knowing. Don't yell at them. Don't be quick to hit them. Talk to them and understand them first and see how much better relationships will be. I have one memory myself that I can recall because I wasn't a bad kid at all. I was very well behaved, I could say. I only got a whooping a few times in my life, but the times that I did get whoopings, they are instilled in my mind and I remember them because that was a traumatizing experience for me. And when I say all my personal experiences and everything, it's not to embarrass myself or embarrass anyone that I'm talking to because I'm sharing this so it could be relatable to the topic. And I love my granddaddy, so I'm not on here bashing him or whoever I talk about. I'm not on there bashing him. But this one time I remember I was talking back to my grandpa coming from Belle Isle. He had took us to Belle Isle. That's something he always used to do with us. And I was arguing with my little cousin. And I guess my grandpa got in it and he said something to me. And I didn't know I was being smart, but I ended up saying something back to him. And basically he was just like, oh, when we get home, I'm on you. Just wait. And when my grandpa gave you whoopings, he do it a certain way because he called all the kids and everybody into the room so it can be a show. So you can be embarrassed and feel terrible for what you did, and everybody else gets to see you in pain. And then also back then, y'all know them belts that they made back then. They used to catch your skin, everything, and he had the ones with the holes in it so your skin could suck into it after you got hit. Oh, okay. I'm not trying to make it sound bad. I am not. But whooping your child is a bad thing, regardless. That's behavior that we need to unlearn, hopefully soon. So yeah, he gave me a whooping and I'm just sitting there and all the kids are laughing or just looking like, oh my God, I hope this don't happen to us. So it's like, it's basically like slave days. Like Master would put the slave that ran away or something front and center and made the other slaves watch as they would get beaten. Just told the other ones would know, don't do this. And that's literally what was happening to me. That's literally like what happened to me. Like, and granted, they didn't do it, but it's other ways to discipline instead of physical harm because all that is trauma. I also I remember being a kid, and happened to go outside to go get switches from my cousin. Not only did we used to get whooped with belts, we got whooped with switches, with branches, with anything, extension cords, anything that they could find, they were whooping you with. And I remember getting whooped so bad, I had webs on me. And when I see those webs and you see that, it gives you slave vibes. It'd be like, dang, I got beat that bad to where it's showing on my skin. That's literally us reliving our trauma from 400 years ago. Excuse me, y'all, because these kids over here playing with this little noisy toy and I got to take it from them. So give me. But to reiterate what I was saying, we do not need to constantly keep repeating what already happened to us 400 years ago. It's unnecessary. We will never be happy and heal from it if we're constantly reliving this trauma. And I will have more in-depth episodes on generational cycles and generational trauma because that is something that our community suffers from a lot. And we don't understand or realize that, these kids, these damn dogs. Anyway, this is Raw and Unfiltered. So I'm giving y'all the rawness. I rarely edit my videos. I'm calling them videos. I rarely edit my podcast because I want y'all to feel the realness in it. I want y'all to feel the genuineness in it because I'm not trying to sugarcoat or do anything whatsoever. I want y'all to hear me as me. And y'all hear the dogs playing in the background. This is my world. This is me. Not like I said, eventually y'all won't hear that because I'm going to have the microphones, but we just got to deal with it for now. Back to the topic. During slavery, brutal punishment was a form of control. Whippings were intended to break the spirit and enforce compliance. According to researchers, these practices were used to maintain power over enslaved populations. Literally, like just how people whoop their kids so they can listen. It's literally the slave master whipping the slave so they will listen. It's literally that. You should not be looking at your child as a slave. You should not be treating your child like one. This is a mini version of you. This is a part of you. You shouldn't beat it. You should love it. We have to have better practices. We do. Because those whoopings are traumatizing. I remember one time, and this is when I was a teenager, damn near grown. Like, my dad gave me a whooping, and I was just in my head because it didn't even hurt. So I was just sitting there getting a whooping, but I was just in my head the whole time, like, you whooping me, and I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to constantly keep doing the same thing again. Just because you whoop me does not mean I'm going to change my behavior. It doesn't. That's a temporary solution. It's a temporary solution, and it shouldn't even be a solution. It should not at all. Scholars have noted how the trauma of slavery trickled down through generations. The use of physical punishment in Black families can often be linked back to survival mechanisms instilled during that dark time. The aim was to protect loved ones from harsher punishments by learning discipline at home. Basically, what that's saying is, I'm going to beat you at home so you don't get beat out there. You need to know better here so nothing happens to you out there. But that still that's all trauma work. That is all trauma work. You should not be, I'm going to do it here and I'm going to be evil here so you can understand how it is out in the world. You do not have to lead with anger and abuse and control. You can lead with love. Kids don't need to be beaten. No one needs to be beaten in order for them to want to listen and learn and do things correctly. In the book, Hitting Children Leads to Trauma, Not a Better Behavior, researchers discuss the historical context and lasting impact on these practices on Black community today. Now, I have not yet read that book, but that will be one of the books that I will be adding to my reading list for 2025 because I do want to open my mind more to the situation than I've already had. And it is very intriguing and interesting to me. Literally, like, please instill in your mind, if I whoop my kid, I'm traumatizing them. Instill that in your mind because that's literally what you are doing. That's literally what you are doing. Literally. Why would you want to traumatize something that you brought into this world? Something that you say you love. Someone that you say you love. You wouldn't want anyone to do that to you at all. So stop it. Like, I understand, like, back then it happened more often and it was more common. And then as the years went on, some people calmed down with that and they were like, oh, I don't think I should hit my kid. I think it's better practices. And then, you got those people that's like, you don't whoop that kid. That's why they act like that. You need to whoop them. That's why they act like, no, you do not need to do any of that. Keep doing what you're doing. If you're a soft parent, please. And it shouldn't even be soft parenting. There should be no terms for soft parenting because that is correct parenting. Because that hard parenting when you abusing your child and whooping them and, okay, give me a moment, y'all. Because what the hell? Okay, back again like I never left. But we just have to do better. And it starts with us. It starts with our generation, the generations in the past. It starts with you. You have to be the one to make a difference. So everyone else can just get in line, Because other people are like, I'm not, my kid too bad, that baby kid. No. Put that baby in therapy. Talk to them. Figure out what's going on. Your first resort should not be grabbing a belt and beating them. It should not be that because you are not trying to control them. You are their parent. They are not an object. They are not your property. They are your child. Act like it. Because if you constantly just go to resort to beating them, you looking at them like your property, like the masters used to do the slaves. So instill that in your brain. Maybe that'll help you. Something, please. Now, the older generation might feel defensive when confronted with this topic, as it can feel like an attack on traditional methods. However, understanding the truth allows us to break these cycles and establish healthier ways of parenting. Dr. Stacy Patton, a notable researcher, emphasizes that corporal punishment is a legacy of slavery that needs addressing. It's vital for our community to recognize this and move towards nurturing. Nurturing. Talk, sit, understand. Nurture them. Nurture them. Please. Her work encourages dialogue on creating new, positive traditions. It's essential to acknowledge our past while forging a new path forward. We can honor our history by learning from it and pushing towards change. Breaking free from inherited cycles opens the door to growth, healing, and stronger family bonds. Just take a look around. See what families are united and what aren't. The Black community has an issue with, strong family bonds. And one of those is because of abuse and beatings. Those are one of the reasons why. Because then kids don't want to come back around. They don't want to deal with you no more after you didn't beat them their whole life. They don't want anything to do with you. And that doesn't create a strong family bond. That breaks the family bond. Look around and look at these other cultures. Look at them. Look how strong their family bonds are. Like, just ask yourself a question. What could be the reasons why? Granted, we never set ourselves up for failure. We are not to blame for why we do what we do. Because we weren't the ones whooping us. We weren't the ones beating ourselves back then. But that was a learned behavior and a learned habit that needs to be unlearned now. Because now you should know better. And you should not constantly keep dragging that from generation to generation. You want to break that generational cycle? One of them is stop whooping your kids. I promise you. And I know everybody going crazy. Oh my gosh, she done said stop whooping. Black people, my Black people, I love you. Hey, I used to be one of them. I have 2 god kids. And I used to be one of them that used to, okay, you're not listening to me, I'm going to give you a whooping. But then I had to realize it's not really doing nothing. It's not, because they literally do the same thing again. Just like the mindset I had with my dad. I'm still going to do the same thing again. I don't care that you just whoop my ass. No one is perfect. I'm not saying you a terrible parent because you out here whooping your child. All I'm saying is disciplining of children is something that we have learned through our generational trauma. And one of those are being slavery. And it needs to end so we can create healthier ways and stronger family bonds. This conversation is about embracing our past to empower our future. We have the strength to rewrite our narrative and cultivate a culture of love, respect, and understanding. Thank you for tuning in to this deep dive. Remember, initiating change starts with acknowledging what has been. Let's continue having these important conversations. I just want to end this with a beautiful quote from Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And with that, see you guys on Monday. Talk soon.